Before generating, note, for ElevenLabs v3, the bracketed phrases are meant to be parsed as audio cues, but ElevenLabs v3 will read them aloud, so we need to deliver the content as plain prose without brackets and instead use natural delivery cues through punctuation, sentence shortening, and natural prosody. ElevenLabs v3 will read the brackets literally, so I need to remove them in the actual generation, but preserve them as pacing hints via punctuation. The user wants emotional cues in brackets at delivery, but ElevenLabs v3 doesn't natively understand bracketed stage directions. We must convert the bracketed cues into natural prose techniques. Short sentences for emphasis, ellipses for hesitation, capitalized words for stress, .m dashes for dramatic pauses, period for hard stops. Let me generate a prose version of part 1 with these natural cues preserved via punctuation, while keeping every single word from the original script intact. Formatting approach, paste only the prose, no brackets. Brackets removed. Ellipses and capitalization indicate emotional pacing. Rewrite part 1 as prose ready for ElevenLabs v3 to read aloud. You're sitting on the couch after a long day. The television is playing in the background, but neither of you is really watching it. You look over at her. She's scrolling on her phone, one hand resting on the cushion between you. There's a distance there, that quiet, heavy space that feels like a canyon, even though she's only inches away. You wonder if she's just tired, or if she's actually drifting. Why is it so quiet lately? Is this just how long-term love dies? Do I still know how to reach her? Am I the one making her pull away? Here's the thing, man. The relationship didn't get harder because your love faded. It got harder because your safety did. You haven't lost the spark. You've just lost the ability to read the map of her body language. You're not failing at love. You're just two people who are scared and don't know how to say it. Every couple that has ever loved each other has stood exactly where you're standing. Today, we're going to decode the subtle, physical language of her attraction so you can stop guessing and start connecting again. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that attraction is a choice they make with their minds. You decide to be interested, so you act interested. But the real truth is that attraction is a nervous system event. Her hands, her posture, and her micro-movements are reading your safety before her conscious mind even catches up. When a relationship hits a rut, we stop looking at each other's bodies and start looking at our own internal narratives.
We assume she's closed off because she doesn't want us. In reality, her silence is often just a protective layer over a heart that is waiting to feel safe enough to open. What looks like withdrawal is usually just someone waiting for a signal that it's finally okay to land. Let's look at the open palm baseline. Most couples assume that holding hands is just a romantic gesture for the honeymoon phase. But the deeper truth is that the open palm is the ultimate nervous system regular. When she is truly relaxed with you, her hands aren't balled into fists or tucked away under her legs. They are accessible. For instance, most people in relationships know the feeling of a partner sitting there with hands tucked firmly under her thighs, phone held like a shield. You ask, "Everything okay?" And she says, "I'm fine." But her body is braced for impact. But when she's leaning back, her hands resting openly on her lap or palm up on the cushion, she's not doing anything. She is simply being with you. Her brain is quietly registering, "I actually feel safe enough to drop my guard." And when you see those open palms, the silent message she's sending is that she trusts you with her softest parts. Then there is the micro-touch curiosity. Most people wait for big, dramatic moments of intimacy to feel close. But this is where it gets really interesting. It's in the 30-second windows, the moments between tasks, where the real work of love happens. Most couples fall into a routine where walking past each other in the kitchen feels like two ships passing in the night, acting like two roommates just coordinating chores. But when she likes you and wants to close the distance, she taps your arm when she walks by, or lingers for a second when she hands you your coffee. It's not a sexual overture, it's an unspoken longing for presence. Something in her is saying, "I just want to make sure you're still there." And that's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. Now, using procedural audio formats, we'll perform block by block rather than join and then a single request. That file is too long for direct generation. I'll perform only the part 1 generation. The user already has the part1.txt that includes emotional cues. That file is meant to be shown to the user as the format that delivers the right delivery. But for the actual TTS, we should clean the brackets. Just pass it without brackets to maintain all original words exactly.
The user wants brackets in the formatted script, which I showed, and the audio cleaned up version will be generated without brackets, but with natural prosody via punctuation. And this is the one most couples never figure out: the unclenched jaw and hand sync. This isn't about louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but two people who actually feel safe enough to be honest with each other for the first time in years. Most people in relationships miss this because they are too busy talking over each other. You might be discussing bills, and you notice her hand is gripping the edge of the table, her knuckles white. She's arguing, but her nervous system is in full fight-or-flight mode. But here's what changes everything. When you soften your posture and lower your voice, you watch her shoulders drop and her hands relax on the table. Her inner monologue shifts to, "He doesn't need me to fight him. He just wants to understand me." That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Here's the part no one talks about: the mirroring reflex. Most couples think mirroring is just a surface-level body language trick you read about online. It's not. It's biological alignment. Most couples drift because they operate on entirely different emotional frequencies. You might be leaning forward, intense and frustrated, while she is curled away, pulling back into herself. But when a woman likes you, her hands will unconsciously mimic yours. If you rest your hand on the table, a few moments later, hers will find its way there too. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what two connected people naturally do. When you notice that synchronicity, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. Finally, we have the inviting gesture. Honestly, this is the most crucial dynamic beneath the surface. Most couples mistake a lack of overt affection for a lack of interest, but emotional distance isn't like a wall. It's like scar tissue that forms slowly over 100 small moments that never got repaired. Most people try to reach for their partner with the wrong timing, trying to fix a mood when she just wants to be heard, causing her to pull her hands away. But when you create genuine emotional safety, her hands will make small, inviting gestures, clearing a spot next to her on the couch, brushing a piece of lint off your shirt, or resting a hand on your knee. What's moving through her is, "I forgot how good it feels to be chosen." That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like work into a connection that feels completely effortless. This isn't a checklist, it's an invitation to show up differently, and that changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding, and your partner will feel the difference before you've even said a word. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become one.